So yeah, my name's Morgan Drake, and I'm a wizard. Um, I have a course on runes, as Ruby said, and I- I've been using magic for a decent amount of time. Well, like I've lost track, at least if you get this point. But yeah, so I'm an omnist wizard. If you don't know what omnism is, it's a very open path. It respects all spiritual path or middle path. Omnists are usually like get together because we all have so many different ways of expressing our magic-uality. I was trained under a wizard, Merlin of Manitou. He owns Merlin's Realm in Old Colorado City. And trained me over 10 years ago, but I started learning directly from nature when I was a teenager, when I fighted to crack out of my shell and my fear of learning. So some things I learned directly from nature, and then he kind of took up the role of teacher for me. And he let me explore whatever it was I wanted to learn, whatever it was that my heart called out to. Runes came to me pretty early on, and at first I resisted it, and they were very insistent, and they became a very important part of my magic. They can be used not only for divination but also for manifestation, and they opened me up to learning more about animism, which is the most that we know of, the most ancient spiritual path that we find worldwide in native traditions around the world. And that opened my mind, opened my eyes, and I try to bring that a little bit into the course. I more try to encourage people to learn directly from people who have either had a lot of direct interaction with animistic tribes, whether it's Europe or whatever. But my course is also, I try to present a lot of the history because our ancestors, what they've written, through what they've left behind. And I see that as very important. So I do offer a very grounded historical perspective at first with the rune. And then I go into how spirituality and spiritual practices evolve over time, and that evolution is normal, it's natural, it's fine. And I kind of open the stage by like giving you examples, not only in the past, but in the present of how people are using runes nowadays, and that is perfectly valid. So I think I covered everything.
That's brilliant. And maybe just briefly tell us the upcoming courses that you're looking at creating for us, which I'm very excited about.
Ooh, I have so many ideas flying in my head. I know that one course in particular that I see a lot of desire for is Egyptian magic. To be perfectly clear, actually, the Egyptian pantheon, the ancient Egyptian pantheon, was the first pantheon I turned to when I became a pagan. And I wanted to learn directly from the sources, from the past that we have. And I actually started with the Old Kingdom, and I said, nah, spiritual practices evolve over time. So starting with the oldest and then working towards more contemporary practices seemed like the best way to go. So I started with Old Kingdom and what we had, and then learned Middle Kingdom and learned New Kingdom. And I had to pop back and forth between eras, but I never got past New Kingdom. I never felt I understood enough to move into the Greco-Egyptian period. I did dabble in learning about it a little bit, and there are some major differences. So
Wow.
when I do my course, I am going to be talking mostly about actual ancient Egyptian magic before Alexander the Great and the Ptolemaic dynasty. In fact, before the Persian invasion, which I believe, if I'm correct, that would have been the third intermediate period. So I'm focusing particularly in Old Kingdom, Middle Kingdom, and New Kingdom philosophies. And I'm going to be presenting, of course, just like I did with the rune class, the history and what we know of the practice. And of course, because we're in the modern day and most of us don't live along the Nile, how you can take those practices and apply them to where you are, whether it's in the city or in nature, wherever you happen to be. And because that's such a big topic, I'm probably going to start with simpler stuff. I always try to give people as much as I can in terms of personal practice that you can actually sit down and do. And that's a big thing with that. I have a few other ideas. I work with crystals, so thinking about doing a crystal course that is different from the norm. I have a different approach, and I encourage that you not take what one person or another person says as law, but to take what I have to teach and apply it to whatever your work with crystals is. It's not to say, oh, I'm right and those people are wrong. No. Just a new perspective on it. Hopefully new. And then another one I've been thinking of doing is absinthe rituals. I love working with absinthe in rituals specifically. It does have a ritual to it. And so that might be a little fun something. But those are the top three that I can think of that are bonking around in my head. But starting with the Egyptian magic one, that's probably going to be my next course.
That's going to be cool. I'm very excited. And if anything, you're probably thinking of possibly doing like, say, level 1 or level 2 or level 3.
Yeah, probably. Because like I said, there's
who knows?
lot
I mean,
to
how
it.
you're led.
Yep. And how much information I have to offer. Because like with the rune course, I give sources. I actually offer in the rune course, for example, the rune poems that we know of. And I found as many as I could. And that is what we call in science a primary source. And I have so many primary sources for Egyptian stuff that I don't know that I could fit it all in the course. I may just give references to where you can go for your own reading. But I have so many books in physical copy and in digital copy that I probably have well over 50 sources that are specifically primary sources. And primary sources are direct translations of texts. So that's not someone saying, oh, and I think this is what this means. That's a secondary source. A primary source is, this is the text, this is the translation, this is what the translation says to the best of our knowledge. So I have a lot of sources.
So I just want to say, this is what I'm saying, what we're bringing to this academy. It was the same with Yvette. It's not just, oh, this is how you do it. If you want to, it's not like saying, well, here are the rules to this board game, go for it. You figure it out as you go on. No, we're bringing quality stuff. And with both of them, they're even referencing stuff where they get their knowledge from or their material, whether it's their experience or what is a good source. If you want to learn more about this, read this book. There's a lot of recommendations, and you guys actually show them certain things on how to do it. And this is what makes me excited. This is not, I'm not trying to make this as an academic thing that the state of Colorado has to recognize it and you have to have so many credits or whatever. I'm trying to bring quality material in and still make it affordable. So thank you. That was just a beautiful, you're just a beautiful example of that right now, just starting off with. So thank you, Morgan. I appreciate that.